No, travel insurance and cruise insurance are not the same. In fact, 90% of us don't even know that cruise insurance exists. And यही गलती cruise पे बहुत महंगी पड़ सकती है. So today we are talking about something which most of us ignore till the time हम flight में नहीं बैठते, and that is insurance. And for that, me and Naresh from StarDream Cruises are bringing to you the series called Cruise Pe Chale. But since it's an insurance-based episode, we've got an expert on board, Mr. Dev Karwat from Asego. Travel insurance और cruise insurance अलग होते हैं और it's just a marketing gimmick?
How expensive or how cheap is the insurance?
One mistake people do while buying a cruise insurance.
आपने बताया मैंने क्या-क्या चीजें कवर हो गई. ऐसी क्या चीजें जो कवर नहीं है?
क्रूज इंश्योरेंस में ऐसा कोई पॉइंट है जो ध्यान दे के पढ़ना चाहिए. एंड इफ समथिंग हैपेंस ऑन अ क्रूज, व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट स्टेप? Is the consumer paying? Is the insurance company paying? Is the cruise liner paying? If somebody missed their ship and the baggage and everything is on board, the passports, everything is with you guys. So what happens in that situation? अगर आप क्रूज पे जा रहे हैं, आपका लैंड इंश्योरेंस इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम योर क्रूज इंश्योरेंस. ये ट्रैवल इंश्योरेंस और क्रूज इंश्योरेंस अलग होते हैं और इट्स जस्ट अ मार्केटिंग गिमिक?
Your question is like, I've upgraded from an i15 to i17, but I'll use the same cover, right? It's exactly like that.
So you mean the travel insurance which I'm buying for my holidays will not be covered if I'm going on a cruise in the same holiday?
Correct.
To put the other way around, if say a guest buys a cruise insurance, is his land covered in
Yes.
that?
Oh.
It's covered in
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
So cruise is all inclusive
Okay.
because it's an add-on cover and it'll give you that full protection on the cruise, and at the same time it'll also cover you for your regular travel insurance, which means that if you fall sick on land or if you have any other issues like loss of baggage or if you miss your passport or anything of that
Absolutely.
sort, will also get covered in the cruise cover.
If I book my cruise 60 days before departure, you're recommending I should buy the insurance 60 at the same time.
In fact, the moment you book a cruise, you need to have a insurance cover, a specific cruise insurance cancellation cover. If you have a specific cruise cancellation cover, it will start from the day that you make the booking until you actually fly out. Right?
Okay.
So in case in that period, if you have to cancel your cruise because somebody is sick at home or there's a situation by which you cannot travel, you'll actually be able to go and cancel and get a full refund of your cruise up to $7,000, right? Which is a very large amount for anybody to claim. And also while you are on cruise, if there is any interruption because of similar reasons again, and you have to come back, cut short your trip, so your prepaid excursions, your cruise costs, etc., will also get refunded. So actually your insurance policy should start the time that you make the booking, the day that you make the booking.
And if something happens on a cruise, what is the first step? Is the consumer paying? Is the insurance company paying? Is the cruise liner paying? What happens if there's a medical emergency?
So see, I can talk from a cruise line perspective. So what happens is there is a medical center on board.
Yes.
Okay, but
Yes.
as I said, it's a medical center. It's
Correct.
not a hospital.
Correct.
Okay, we always have doctors and nurses manning it.
Correct.
Now, depending on the condition of the patient,
Correct.
okay, if it can be treated on board in the center, if it's like bukhar hai, fever hai, jo bhi hai,
Correct.
that simple things can be done there itself. Now, if it is a illness which is not life-threatening, okay, but still needs attention and the ship cannot cater to it, then what we do is the ship is diverted to the nearest port.
Sure.
To offload the passenger with the next of kin so that they're taken to the hospital.
Sure.
But in case of life-threatening,
Sure.
okay, then that's where the captain and the doctor come into play and they decide, yes, a medical evacuation through a chopper is required.
Sure. So the evacuation that happens is called the emergency evacuation and needs special rescue. Right? Now that's completely cashless. You don't have to pay a single rupee. But if you call us and our assistance team will ensure that wherever you are in the world, and we will evacuate from there and bring you to the nearest city and get you hospitalized. Now that evacuation can cost you anywhere between 25 lakhs to 1 crore.
Now, I think that's where very important is when you say that a chopper evacuation is covered.
Correct.
So it also helps me put my mind at peace that see we can't predict future. मुझे नहीं मालूम कल मुझे क्या होने वाला है.
Correct.
तो at least I'm covered in that.
Correct.
You know, and or at least मेरा जो relative मेरे साथ में है उस समय उसका stress ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि मैं पैसे कहाँ से लाऊंगा इस समय.
Absolutely.
मैं अपने country से बाहर हूँ, एक ship के ऊपर हूँ, कहीं भी हूँ, पैसे कहाँ से लाऊं?
Correct. Absolutely.
जान तो बचानी है बिल्कुल भी. Because I think that actually answers you know in terms of why buying of insurance is so critical.
Yeah.
जब हम लोग हॉलिडे प्लान करते हैं, you know, say obviously I talk from a cruise perspective. मैंने फ्लाइट बुक कर लिया, मैंने क्रूज बुक कर लिया, होटल बुक कर लिया, वीजा बुक कर लिया. Okay, the next question that I'm possibly need an answer for is, I'm assuming that in all these elements, okay, insurance should be the cheapest component.
Sure.
Now, how expensive or how cheap is the insurance? Say for a 5 nights holiday, okay, out of which say 3 nights are on a ship and 2 nights are on land.
सिर्फ 1,000 रुपये में आपको बहुत सारे कवरेज मिल रहे हैं, आपका पूरा ट्रिप सिक्योर हो रहा है. आपका जो कैंसिलेशन अगर किसी भी रीज़न के वजह से आपका अगर कैंसिलेशन होता है तो उसमें आपको रिफंड मिलेगा. आप अगर क्रूज़ पे हो, आपका जो इवैक्यूएशन होता है विच इज़ रेयर बट इट इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, अगर इवैक्यूएशन होता है जिसका कॉस्ट कैन गो अप टू 1 करोड़ रुपीज़, वो कवर होता है आपका. अगर आपका पोर्ट मिस डिपार्चर होता है बिकॉज ऑफ अ लेट फ्लाइट इन कमिंग, वो कवर होता है टू जॉइन इट विद द नेक्स्ट पोर्ट. आपका कैबिन कन्फाइनमेंट की वजह से अगर आपको कुछ स्मॉल बीमारी वगैरह होती है क्रूज़ पे एंड इफ़ यू हैव टू स्टे ऑन द कैबिन, आपका जो प्रीपेड एक्सकर्शन है वो कवर होगा. सो 0.25% of your total cost can get you a lot of coverage and a lot of security and mental peace than saying that okay I am then ignoring or having lack of you know awareness that okay either my travel insurance will cover it or I've had some people who will say look my local life insurance policy covers me for this, right? That is like one end of lack of awareness.
So tell me one thing, Naresh, what is the frequency or एक साल में कितने ऐसे इमरजेंसी इवैक्यूएशंस होते हैं शिप पे?
इमरजेंसी में चॉपर इवैक्यूएशन?
या चॉपर इवैक्यूएशंस
साल का मैं बोलूँगा 2 या 3 साल में एक होता होगा.
So medical emergency as compared to how many people miss their ships?
Miss the ships? Yes. Clear example.
So that's what I'm coming with that. So what happens if people miss their ship, be it on excursions or right at the port?
Yeah. So it's a classic example, right? So people flying to Singapore, flight gets delayed, you miss your cruise, right?
Yeah.
The insurance policy will cover you to catch up, right? Which means that you have to go to the next port.
Correct.
It'll pay you for expenses either by road, by next flight, or by rail, or whatever it may take. But it'll cover you to join the cruise at the next port.
For example, if somebody missed their ship and the baggage and everything is on board, the passports, everything is with you guys. So what happens in that situation?
So in a situation where the guest hasn't been able to come back, so the सबसे important आपके लिए पहले तो है कि आपका passport has to be offloaded. नहीं तो आप उस country को छोड़ेंगे कैसे?
Correct.
ठीक है, you have to exit out of the country. So what we do is the passports are offloaded, okay, and given to the port agent. Every port has an agent जो ship appoint करता है.
Okay.
ठीक है, that he's the gentleman who or a person, you know, he's a company who doesn't travel with the cruise. His job is to ensure the ship is there, docked properly. So passport उनको दे दिया जाता है. So when this guest comes, तो उसको passport मिल गया to have a safe transit out of the country. अब बात रही bags की, because bags तो ship पे रह गए. Now उस bags को obviously housekeeping will go in, pack everything in. If this guest says कि through the port agent that he will join the ship in the next port of call, then obviously when he comes to the next port of call, the bag उसका ship के ऊपर ही है, because he's coming back on the ship. Otherwise, it's taken and offloaded at the home port. से मेरी आइटनरी सिंगापुर टू सिंगापुर है, तो मैं जब सिंगापुर वापस आएगी शिप तो मैं उसका बैग को ऑफलोड कर दूंगा. एंड अगर वो गेस्ट तब तक पहुंच गया तो ही कैन कम एंड क्लेम द बैगेज. अगर वो नहीं पहुंचा देन अगेन इट्स गिवन टू द एजेंट देयर हु वुड यू नो कोऑर्डिनेट ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द शिप विद द गेस्ट एंड पास ऑन द बैगेज टू हिम. बट पासपोर्ट्स, यस, टू बी ऑनेस्ट, पासपोर्ट्स आर ऑफलोडेड इमीडिएटली.
क्रूज इंश्योरेंस में ऐसा कोई पॉइंट है जो ध्यान दे के पढ़ना चाहिए?
I think the most important being the evacuation cover.
Okay.
It should be first of all sufficient because the evacuation cost, if I do it on land, it's anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000. But if you do it on cruise, it is anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 or maybe $200,000 depending on where you are.
It's happening in the middle of the sea.
Yeah. And of course a trip cancellation cover and a trip curtailment cover, which will again has to be of an amount which will cover the package, the cruise package cost. It shouldn't be limited to $100 or $500 because otherwise it makes no sense.
Yeah. मैंने इंश्योरेंस खरीद लिया, आपने बताया मैंने क्या क्या चीज़ें कवर हो गई, ऐसी क्या चीज़ें जो कवर नहीं हुई है?
So, we spoke about a trip cancellation cover,
ਹਾਂਜੀ.
right? A trip cancellation cover, somebody might say, look, I have got some important business meeting and I can't travel tomorrow, right? That may not get covered in the policy.
Fair enough.
Or we spoke about smaller expenses on cruise. Let's say you're taking help from the cruise in-house doctor, and you have cabin confinement, and you might have to make some expenses that in case if the cruise charges, then you pay that up first because they're smaller expenses.
Absolutely.
Come back and take a reimbursement because there's no way that I can give you cashless
Cashless.
at the cruise, right? But apart from these things, more or less everything will be covered.
One mistake people do while buying a cruise insurance.
First, they have to buy the crew insurance. They don't buy, and if they end up buying, then they don't check the limits of coverage where they need to actually
Okay.
ensure that they get covered, right? For, like I mentioned, about evacuation or anything else. So the limit check and the exact scope of coverage is very important. The devil lies in the details, like they say.
And Naresh, do you buy cruise insurance when you travel on a cruise?
Of course I do. Of course I do.
You
For
do?
Sure. Yes.
So he's done his part. Dave, you been on a cruise?
I'm going on a cruise very soon.
Yay! Okay, so thank you so much. So this is the reason we are telling you buy an insurance. ऐसा नहीं हो कि बहुत देर हो जाए फिर आपको क्रूज पे जाके याद आए कि उफ क्रूज इंश्योरेंस क्यों नहीं खरीदा है. जरूरी है आप क्रूज इंश्योरेंस खरीदे. आस्क योर एजेंट क्या यू वांट स्पेसिफिकली अ क्रूज इंश्योरेंस बिकॉज यूजुअली जब हम हॉलीडेज पे जाते हैं हम ट्रैवल इंश्योरेंस खरीदते हैं. इनफैक्ट लॉट ऑफ पीपल थिंक कि हमारा जो जनरल हेल्थ पॉलिसी है वो कवर कर लेगा. ऐसा नहीं है. ओके, द रूल बुक फॉर ट्रैवल इज एक्सट्रीमली डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अ रूल बुक ऑफ cruise holiday. So next time if you're going on a cruise, buy a cruise insurance. And with that we say Cruise Pe Chale. Thank you. To know more, comment cruise insurance.
Perfect, done.
Cool, done. You're done.
What do you?